Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new video on the Craft Angles channel. Have you ever wondered what to do with the cute little stamps which are invariably a part of larger stamp sets? Do you struggle with putting them to use? Well, today's video is for you. I'm going to teach you some easy tricks to use those small stamps along with some beautiful backgrounds made using liquid watercolors. So let's get started. We'll be using the lovely Holly Jolly Christmas stamp set today, and I'll be using the small leaves and berries stamp as well as the large sentiment. I also have a washi tape and 3 pieces of watercolor cardstock cut to size, and I'm going to be using some of the liquid watercolors for my backgrounds. I'll start with a piece of watercolor paper which is cut to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. I'll take a long piece of washi tape and roll it up behind the watercolor paper so that my watercolor paper doesn't move while I am doing the painting. I will attach this firmly to my craft mat. To do the painting, I'll be using a flat brush and some clean water. I'll take just a little dot of the lemon tart liquid watercolor on my craft mat and then use my flat brush to apply it to my watercolor paper. I'm going for an ombre kind of a look, so I will start with a darker color and then lighten it by adding water as I go towards the other end. While my paper is still wet, I'm going to create the next layer of color. I want some orange, which I don't have, so what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of Pretty Peony, which is a lovely pink, to my pool of yellow color and then mix it. I'll repeat the process of creating an ombre look with this, applying a darker shade towards the top and then diluting the color as I go towards the bottom. The next colors that I'm going to be using are Pretty Peony, which is a lovely pink, and Soulmate, which is a red. I wanted a darker shade of red, so I'm going to just add a little bit of blackberry to my red color to create a more maroon shade. Once my basic painting was done, I did come back with more colors to intensify them a little bit and create a beautiful ombre panel which goes from pale yellow to dark red. For our next background, I'll be using a total of 5 colors. These are Lemon Tart, Poison Ivy, Evergreen, Poolside and Mystical Waters. I'll begin by adding small drops of water on my palette, and then I'll be using a flat brush to simply draw stripes on my paper. The first layer of stripes are going to be rather broad, and I'm going to be diluting the ink so that I get lighter stripes. When I reached the end of the paper, I decided a little bit of purplish hue to it. So I added a drop of Poolside and mixed it with another drop of Soulmate. Once my first layer of colors was done, I dried my panel thoroughly with a heat gun, and then I added more liquid watercolor to my palette. This time I'm using a thinner brush, a flat brush but a narrower brush, and using the liquid watercolors directly without any dilution. This is giving me a lovely tone on tone effect and creating a very colorful background. This kind of a background is great when you want a bold colorful background, and it can be combined with your outline stamps for many different occasions. I'll dry this panel thoroughly and then it is ready to go for our card. For a final background, I decided to use the dip dye technique which has been made so popular by Christina Werner. This is one of those backgrounds where there is no right or wrong way of doing it. You just keep building layers of color. I started with Pretty Peony and added some water to create an ombre look. It is very important to keep drying between layers, so keep your heat tool handy. You can also keep combining colors till you're happy with the way the background looks. After Pretty Peony, I added Soulmate. I continue to add a purplish hue by mixing Poolside and Soulmate. The other colors which I use for this background are Mystical Waters, Poison Ivy, and Evergreen. I also mix several colors as and when I felt the need, bringing in Blackberry for a little bit of darkness in the colors. Basically, I just went on applying layers till I was happy with the way the background looked. Once most of my background was done, I realized that the pink was looking a little out of place, so I decided to cover it with red. To do this, I rebuilt the layers of red at one end of the card. I started by using Soulmate and applying a dilute layer over the pink, and then I built up colors till I was happy with the way the panel looked. And here are 3 panels, all dry and ready to go. For the first card, I've already stamped and heat embossed the sentiment with gold embossing powder, and I'm going to be using the little stamp from the stamp set along with black ink to create a background. This is a super easy way to do it. I'm just going to ink my stamp and stamp it randomly following the line of the stripes. Notice that I keep twisting and turning the block so that the images look very random and there is no particular direction in which they are lined up. This kind of a background is very bold and colorful, so it is a great way to create birthday cards or even any other seasonal cards. You can probably use candles or tiny cakes or cupcakes for a birthday card. Once I finish stamping, I'm going to take my black ink pad and just ink the sides of the panel so that it has a slightly distressed look and ties in with the black stamping. For the ombre panel, I decided to go for a more subtle background and used a holographic embossing powder. I stamped the image with Versamark ink and then simply covered it with the embossing powder and heat embossed it. The sentiment on the card I stamped with black pigmenting and then just covered it with the same holographic embossing powder. For the dip dye card, I did the stamping and the sentiment with gold and just added a few swipes of the Versamark ink pad around the edges to add some more gold to my card. The ombre card and the dip dye card are practically one layer cards because I simply stamped the sentiments and then just mounted them on craft card bases. For the stripe card, I mounted the panel on the craft card base and then popped up the sentiment with foam towards the top. I also rounded the corners of the sentiment panel. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial and will give these techniques a try. Please let me know in the comments below how you like to use your small stamps and also what kind of backgrounds you like to create with liquid watercolors. Do keep watching this space for more wonderful videos. and I will see you again soon. Bye.